April 22nd. I'm happy you could join me. Grab a coffee and let's get smarter together. I want to pick up where I left off yesterday with the people who were not Uber explorers turned reality and nobility turned elites. To be an Uber explorer means everything you ever do must be a new expression of something, mostly yourself. Whereas when it still was everyone's business to explore, failure to be successful more often than not was the accepted result because a certain percentage would at every point be successful and it enabled everyone else to live and explore comfortably for another day. The margin of error for Uber explorers who expected others to accept their right to do nothing but explore became ever slimmer as time went on. Because expecting others to accept a right to do nothing but explore includes that you have to over-engage in other typical features of a society with a natural tilt toward exploring, such as the creation of moments of dopamine release through leaning into curiosity and sharing. As mentioned before, dopamine is also released during sex and fun meals. And feasts or orgies with and without theatrical performances during which massive amounts of wealth were and are squandered, sacrificed or given away became and are a hallmark of reality and nobility as well as today's elites. Think philanthropy, or think giving each other huge credits and opportunities to incredibly favorable conditions as well as regular debt cancellation. Same. While the aforementioned requires huge amounts of wealth based on goods and working hours, Uber explorers could and can never be seen doing standardized work like personal hygiene, dressing themselves, food and goods creation and preparation and so on, everything that is based on exploiting existing knowledge. It would violate the definition of who they represent and put their right to be only that into question. Hence, they needed and need constant caregivers. And since the need to produce constant novelty soon left only the escape into size of the feasts they were holding, the palaces and graves they were occupying, the wealth they were capable to give away and the adventures they were able to offer, ever more people had to be involved. We are talking thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands and finally millions today. There was one more way Uber explorers could make themselves more unique, and that was by messing with the parameters of the explore-exploit balance. Once they had moved as far to the explorer side of the spectrum as they could see to it that the vast majority of people moved even farther to the exploit side. It saw a set climax with property laws in the Roman Empire, which largely came about to codify the possession of humans, slaves. And against earlier beliefs that possession always meant taking responsibility for the well-being of a property, Roman property laws make it a point to stipulate that the defining characteristics of property is the right to destroy it. As a slave owner, you could destroy the human by death, of course, but also by stripping them of any possibility to explore themselves and the world. They couldn't even generate a world and self of their own. It was given to them in such a way that they would spend their life energy solely in exploitation for the benefit of the owner. Should novelty, new knowledge, arise out of a slave by any chance, it was attributed to the slave owner because a slave couldn't be an explorer to any degree. Couldn't have a dopamine release, nature's way of teaching humans to explore more than to exploit. It would be the end of a system. This kind of slavery was abolished at the beginning of the Middle Ages when the use of coinage declined and human economies picked up again. To establish it again, the slavery, with the rise of industrialization, racism was invented. What? Those are humans? No, those are not humans. Look, they look completely different. They can't be human. Racism stayed with us even after this kind of cattle slavery was abolished again. Not without reason. Because whether slavery exists in this form or any other form or not at all, the distinction to what degree a person is allowed to explore remained because Uber explorers made the world their own with their violent adventures. Think colonialism. And Uber explorers need hordes of Uber exploiters for them to exploit to exist. That's simply it. Now, nature made humans to be curious, to be problem-solving machines, whose the release of dopamine in regular intervals is needed to stay healthy and sane. Uber exploiters, denied leaning into their curiosity, lack dopamine. Some do as they are told and try to substitute their own exploration by living vicariously through the adventures of Uber explorers, their theatrics, contests for retainers, conflicts and wars. Some will turn to roleplay games, theater, art, music, writing, SMM, but with a strict admonition that this isn't reality. You can't explore in reality. It's not your place. Others, again, will try to substitute exploration with thrill-seeking, gambling, overeating, or the abuse of drugs. And then there are those millions who are suffering from depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems. We all feel that something is missing. Not everywhere the creation of cities led to standardization and thus the rise of Uber explorers. Not everywhere Uber explorers succeeded with the implementation of a view that everything, even humans, can be reduced to numbers. Especially today, on the first night of Pesach, think of the line, "Let my people go." Stop making them exploit. Let them explore. Let them go. And not everywhere where Uber explorers seemed to have gained the upper hand stayed the balance tilted wrongly. Uber explorers suppressing Uber exploiters isn't the preordained outcome. But these are tales for other coffee breaks. This one is now over. Go away and explore the many realities and selves that are inside you whenever you need them, as Anonas think. Make a habit out of thinking. Let's turn thinking into a movement to find a way to deal with Uber explorers. Like, comment, share, and follow, lest you miss a single opportunity to improve yourself and society. Until next coffee break.